Even if we were to unite our fleets, do you really believe we could defeat the Reapers?
The Reapers won't stop at Earth. They'll destroy every organic being in the galaxy if we don't find a way to stop them.
They're a bunch of self-concerned jackasses, Shepard.
Our people are scared, and we are looking out for them the best we know how. Commander, I can't give you what you need, but I can tell you how to get it.
I'm listening. I should go.
I'll be here.
Greetings once again, everyone. Welcome back to another round of Arbitration Studios as we go to war in the whole damn thing of Mass Effect 3. I'm JP Arbiter.
And I'm Captain Jack.
And right now we are we just dropped off Ashley at the Citadel, and we got told by the Council that despite all of their warnings and the years that we've been banging our head against the wall, they just are not in a position to help us. Useless pricks.
I mean, if you're going to depict war, you have to depict the useless politicians that are involved in it, that started it, that are the cause of it, that are the problem with it.
The thing that I love about Mass Effect 3 that illustrates it is that the Citadel Council for 2 games has been portrayed as the supreme power in the universe, when in all reality, it's 3, later 4 self-important jackasses who are essentially the galactic UN.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the UN just doesn't have power. It's why I always laugh at well-meaning, very well-meaning, progressive individuals who think that, well, the UN Charter 677 says, and I'm just like, who the fuck cares about the UN?
Yeah, no. I mean, you know who has power?
Countries.
The people with guns. Sometimes, well, guns can be a metaphorical thing. No, like really, they can be metaphorical in that they have some form of power that cannot be denied. In the case of, countries like America has all kinds of power. America has economic power. America has soft power and hard power and all kinds of power. But in the case of this, humanity has a power. They have a huge economy. They have a huge military. They have the kind of power that is real, not.
And what's more important, I think, is that. One, humanity's economy is dwarfed by that of the Asari. Humanity's military is dwarfed by design of the Turians, but that's not the point. Humanity's key feature in really a lot of science fiction properties, but particularly in Mass Effect, is a combination of willpower and a tendency to not be stuck in doctrine if doctrine doesn't work,
which is really different from how humans are in general. However, in sci-fi, I like how we're depicted as our best angels. In sci-fi,
in real life, I think what we run across. First off, us being good Americans, we're biased because we have the cheat code, and that we are a relatively young country whose actual industrial processes span an entire continent. There's literally only 2 other countries that are like that, which are Russia and China. And those are older powers who either their resources are tapped out or they're inaccessible. China imports everything. Yeah. So, without getting into geopolitics there.
No. And honestly, we can actually feed our own people. I mean, what it comes down to, and I think that in sci-fi, that's another thing. Humanity can do its own thing. And while we do like to involve ourselves and be a community and stuff like that in sci-fi, we can kind of do our own thing.
Right here, Khaleesa bin Seen al-Jalani, a constant thorn in our side, and she has met the wrong side of Agatha goddamn Fisty for 2 games now. But this, as a bit of character moment, because we're Agatha Fisty, we speak with our fists. Why do we not punch her now? The justification comes down to math. If we keep her sweet, and we only need 1 instance to keep her sweet, which is this one, she actually benefits our war assets for the game.
No, the media can be a huge asset for war if the media does its job. If the and the media does have a job, and that job isn't to say, give like it isn't to give voice to hey this person has a side, that person has a side. Let's hear both sides. That's not the media's job. That's a different kind of media. That is a kind of media, but it's a different kind of media.
The mainstream news media's job is to support the government's action in wartime when it is necessary, and to keep the government in check when the government steps out of line.
It is the media. I think the media's job is to keep, and the media obviously fails. Oh, okay. So
Dr.
this is
Chocolates.
just a side. I love Dr. Chocolates. I love
loves
the
Dr.
character.
Chocolates.
I love that they included her. I love that we can get her. I distrust anybody who doesn't.
You know, and here's the thing, like the Dr. Chakwas fills out the role of the chief medical officer of the spaceship. That's her actual role. It's not even an analog. And you know the obvious parallels are in Star Trek, where we had we had Bones.
Yep.
We had Bashir, we had Crusher, and we had the Holodoc.
Yep. And also let's not forget the doctor from
Enterprise.
Dr. Phlox.
Yeah.
Dr. Phlox.
But the thing is that each one of those doctors was very different, and they've almost become archetypes.
Yes.
It's really easy to point to Chakwas and say, oh, she's Dr. Crusher, but she's not.
No.
Because Beverly Crusher was not a Navy woman.
No.
She was a doctor first and foremost, and really she was a researcher more than anything.
100%.
Being a doctor aboard a ship would be great if it weren't for all the patients.
Yes. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think Dr. Chakwas, honestly, if I'm looking at her and looking for an analog in my other favorite sci-fi property, which is Star Trek, I'm actually...
You mean Stargate?
Oh,
We were talking about Star Trek already.
good point. Stargate. Okay, you're right. Stargate. I think that she is more analog to the Doctor from Stargate, in that she is military. She has military experience. She thinks as a military doctor.
And like a proper military doctor, everyone knows she's really the one in charge.
Yes. But she minds her P's and Q's in public. It's in private where she...
Janet Fraser.
Exactly. Janet Fraser from Stargate, I feel like, is the vibe that I get from Dr. Chakwas, which is the, I am here to support you.
And frankly, I care about each and every one of you.
Exactly. But there is a process here. And I am in charge of that process. There is a she's very secure in her position of being in charge.
We're also reunited here with Dr. Michelle, who, if we either do not take Dr. Chakwas with us, which why the hell would you not?
I have never heard of anybody that did. But if I heard of them, I would not trust them.
Or there is a circumstance, and you gotta either suck or, like, intentionally do this. If there is a circumstance where Chakwas dies, in Mass Effect 2, you can then take Dr. Michelle to be your CMO on the Normandy. And I've watched videos, and she's perfectly fine. And I liked her in the first Mass Effect, where she was like this street level free clinic physician with a couple of dark secrets and whatnot. But it's
and I'm a fan of having characters that appear throughout a game series. I'm a fan of this. I'm a huge fan of the way that the Dragon Age series does it, where they do it. I love Mass Effect for it. And here we have our
our companion.
our companion.
I do horrible salutes because I never served.
With
Uh,
I know people who have served that do horrible salutes, so do not feel bad. Our companion with a head injury. Those suck, by the way, everyone.
he got brained by a stage light.
I did, among other things, but they're not fun. And
Well, yeah, also got brained by a bad first marriage.
that again, they are not fun. Um, but so
We'll bang, okay?
yeah, exactly.
I did not encounter, like, I've heard the "will bang, okay," but it was always Mark Mears saying it.
Yes, yeah.
And frankly, we need to have we need to have. I think he's done with Mass Effect, the gamer poop guy.
Yeah, I
But
believe
it's
so.
like we need situations where FemShep says "will bang, okay."
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
So it's again, Ashley is a bit of a sourpuss, but she is vital to the story. I like her as a character. I like her as a character where you guide her to redeem. This woman, on the other hand, why is she here? She was basically G4 TV, real life. It was a G4 TV anchor who got this thing.
Yeah,
And it's like, again, embedded correspondence
are a necessity, because here's the thing, and this is the most important thing, and I think not enough people understand this, and they need to. Every single person, every single thing, every single organization, everything needs oversight, and the only way to have proper oversight is to have
press on the ground.
press on the ground people who want to tell the worst stories possible. I do, like, people think that that's like, people think, oh, the media blowing things out of proportion. No, I want it that way. So I want eyes on things. I want the doors open, especially when it comes to any military actions. That we all want that. We all need that.
And then they need to be interviewing the lower level officers and the high level NCOs who say crap like this.
Yeah, no.
Thank you, Joker.
We look. The world is a better place the more honest it is. The more honest and open the world is, the better a place it is. And so for me, I on the one hand absolutely 100% agree with what she's doing and want somebody to be doing it. I just don't want it to be her.
Yeah, and production-wise, we know why it was done. It was done to make G4 TV sweet.
Yeah.
And to give Mass Effect 3 lots of positive press.
Absolutely.
Before we continue our trip to Normandy, we have this dream sequence here where...
which gets me every single time.
It's a good dream sequence. I've had nightmares similar, particularly after bad shit's happened in my life. Where, I'm not good at recalling dreams, and frankly, you're too brain damaged to recall dreams even if you try.
I've never been able to remember my dreams.
But it's that whole, the symbols and the pictures that your brain conjures when you're unconscious, and how clear but abstract they could be.
Yeah, so the first time I played this, I really thought to myself, I was like, really, what? They're gonna do this? Like, I didn't. The game went way deeper than I thought, than I had anticipated.
Well, and of course, this little kid gets a lot of flack because it becomes the avatar of the Deus Ex Machina at the end. But before that point, that kid is still a perfect avatar of Shepard's guilt and regret about the Reaper War, because this kid is directly, as we saw in the very first chapter of this kid is a direct example of, not only can you not save them all in war, but I could have saved this kid, but circumstances prevented me.
Yeah,
because I turned away from 1 second and that kid was gone. Yes. And then I saw the ship that he was in get shot down.
Yeah, and I think that way too much is made by fans of the game, or I'm going to put quotes around that, but people who get upset with the game's ending, way too much is made of that ending and not paying attention to the story itself and how the story goes, and the kind of way that the story's played. And there's our there is
Our girlfriend.
our blue paramour, which again is the kind of the running joke of this game, and really it should be of BioWare in general. And this is not a complaint, by the way. This is not a bash of BioWare. I'm honestly, it honestly tickles me the fact that basically all of your companions can be romanced in some way or another, except the Krogan, which obviously bothers me.
Well, and the equivalent of the Krogan is Varric in the Dragon Age games.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I kind of understand why Varric is not romanceable in the Veilguard, but I'm still disappointed. I know it won't happen because, frankly, everyone would romance Varric. There would be no other option.
Why would you have
there would literally be a platinum level trophy/achievement in the game worth triple-digit points on your Xbox score that would be titled Exploring Your Options, and the little blurb is, you romance someone other than Varric.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't understand why, and I feel like maybe the same way with the Krogan. Either or Krogan, it doesn't matter.
Well,
although
that's because you're downright horrendous.
That's true. Rex does hold a soft spot in my heart.
I don't think it's that soft.
It isn't. So here we have
Samantha Trainer, another new character introduced to be your Kelly Chambers replacement. Also, kind of a replacement for Edie.
Yeah.
And we'll see why in a later episode. I do like her, but I have a weakness for Indian descended British accented women.
Yeah. No,
especially if they're lesbians.
No. Absolutely. I do not find that. So there are a lot of these kind of characters. Not a lot, but there were a couple of these kind of characters in the first game that kind of I sort of found annoying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because these secondary characters and whatnot. I thought was a perfectly serviceable, and even some of her more quote unquote cringy interactions, just really because of the actress and because of the voice actress and because of the way they did it, come across as endearing, not cringy.
Well, someone with a British accent can say anything and it sounds classy as fuck.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, you're not wrong.
The thing about Trainer 2 is that they don't overplay her. You have some moments because she is the new kid on the block, and even though she is not a yeoman, because actually I don't think she's Navy technically. I think she was a support apparatus for the Systems Alliance Army. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But it's sort of like how she says communications specialist. That's not a rank in the Systems Alliance Navy.
She would be. She may be a rating, which is a naval, like how Navy folks refer to enlisted is ratings. She may be a rating. I don't know. I don't know if it comes up.
That's the Navy's equivalent of a warrant officer, essentially.
No, that's the Navy's equivalent of a airman.
Oh,
is a rating. Whatever that is.
You're better than a basic seaman.
Yeah, well, they're all seamen. They're all sailors, I should say, because they try to avoid that. They're calling them seamen. But my understanding now, naval folks can correct me. I never really served with Navy folks. I was Air Force.
Your job was to make fun of the Navy.
Well, make fun of their living conditions. Although they have a fantastic hotel. They have some fantastic hotels out there that they run. So I'm not sure. They seem to use, and I've never really dug into it, but they seem to use a combination of Marine and naval terminology within the structure of the Alliance. So I don't really know. And it never really. So I never really felt the need to equivalize it to something that I understood. I just took it as its face value.
So, strategically, I think we have a very interesting picture here. with Admiral Hackett talking to us about what we're going to be doing in the meantime while he works on the device which will eventually be called the Crucible.
Right.
And that is that, we know we're outclassed and we're outgunned. This has become a guerrilla war out the gate. Something that the rest of the species in the galaxy are not equipped for and can't imagine. And that's kind of what, yes, salute me, young man. And that's kind of what keeps humanity in this fight when, like the Batarians, because how this is all started is that the Batarians, because they were literally at the front door when the Reapers came into the galaxy, they just get wiped.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, is that I don't necessarily blame the Reapers for that. Like, I get it. Like, I'm kind of in that case, I'm on the Reaper side.
Because slavers are bad.
Yes.
The other thing, though, is that the Reapers essentially kind of went straight for Earth at this point.
Well, yeah.
Because Commander Shepard threatens them.
Yeah.
So that's what ends up happening is that there are 5 fleets in the Systems Alliance, 5 principal fleets, and we lose 2 of them, but we're able to preserve 3.
Yep.
Because quick damn in a hurry, Hackett understood, oh shit, I'm outgunned, we gotta do hit and runs this entire time,
and space is really big, and that actually helps us.
It preserve your force and hit. There's a great strategic mindset of hit where your enemy is not. And a lot of armchair generals don't understand that, because a lot of armchair generals still have this big open battlefield fight with honor yada mind thing, and that's wrong and stupid, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why Ukraine has managed to hold off Russia for 2 years,
among many reasons. But and again, so in looking at this, you have kind of 2 ways to look at this, and for people who have played through it before, they kind of know how it's going to go. But if you're playing through it and you're playing it in a what's the word I'm looking for here? If you're playing it straight, if you're not like metagaming and you're not you're just playing straight, and you're thinking about it in terms of warfare, which is kind of a subplot of the game that you're playing, is kind of the background plot of the war. You gotta make sure your logistics is taken care of, which is something humans are immensely good at. You have to make sure, you have to get your combat assets, you have to get your, all of those kind of things in order. Love the new uniform.
That's one thing about this that I do appreciate, is that we see in this game, first off, we see dress blues for the first time.
Absolutely. And their dress blues are fantastic. Like, they don't look bad at all.
We see what we're wearing now, which is sort of like a shipboard jumpsuit.
Yeah, that would be like your basic duty uniform.
And then at the beginning of the game, you saw we were wearing a uniform that had these big, like, shoulder pauldrons. I like to call that a field uniform, where it's like, it's a little more all-weather. It's a little more, it might have some padding or some, like, ceramic plating or something to try and protect you.
Yeah.
And whatnot, because you're not tied to the ship. You're not in a climate-controlled, pressurized tube.
Yep. I'm watching this, and it's, I love the game. I love the gameplay. I think we've mentioned it's smooth. It actually is smooth, and I love that. And again, it's one of those things that you watch it and you go, man, what they could do with today's graphics.
And this is a 10-year-old game at that point.
And this is only a 10-year-old game, and just the leap that is between this and more modern games is just amazing. I'm very much looking forward to the next Mass Effect game because of that, just to see what, how they do things.
And I will say this about Mass Effect Andromeda, just to get this out of the way. Gameplay, you interacting with the systems, that was
I lose.
a work of art from
Oh.
day one.
Yeah, no question.
Now, it was janky visually. The story was kind of awkward, but the story also ran into the fact that BioWare realized that they couldn't deliver what they had
Yeah.
been promising this entire time and
Yep.
had to pivot.
Yep.
Yep,
absolutely. They realized they couldn't deliver. They overpromised and therefore were underdelivered. And but the thing was, is if they had never,
and then having to switch from the Havoc engine to whatever that was, Frostbite, I think it is.
I think so. Yeah.
Something that was meant for like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And not a role-playing game, and that was just kind of awkward.
Yeah, it was a little less of a role-playing game, I think, than Mass Effect games in the past had been.
Hello, Infodrone.
Oh,
he's got a name.
His
His name is Glyph.
I love Glyph.
He's cute.
He's cute without being anthropomorphized. That's the thing. Like he in no way, shape, or forms has any kind of cuteness to him, and yet is adorable.
He's not a cat girl.
No.
Which Liara would if Liara could be bothered, probably would get a cat girl.
It's true. It's true.
Glyph's design. We met him in Lair, the Shadow Broker. And was kind of just, I don't want to say annoying. I didn't like his voice at first.
No.
But it grew on me.
So here we have one of the ways you can upgrade your character.
Yep. You'll occasionally, as you go across the galaxy, find shit, and that shit can be used to benefit you directly.
Yep, and it's one of the ways in which they encourage you to just kind of make sure that you touch every nook and cranny.
Because that's one thing that this game really does, and I don't know if this is a bug or a feature, but the story of the game gives you this sense of urgency.
Yes.
About everything.
Yeah.
And it, you feel pressured to plow through the main narrative as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Because you've got a galaxy to save, and thousands of people are dying per hour.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. And but there's my first playthrough, absolutely, I skipped everything extra because of that sense of urgency.
Mm-hmm.
And
then you vaporized half the galaxy.
And then I vaporized half the galaxy, which you know me, that really didn't bother me that much.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as that half of the galaxy contained what was left of the Batarians.
Yes. Absolutely. I would look.
Yes, Catalyst, can we key this so that way instead of killing Edie, it will kill Batarians instead?
Yes. Absolutely. So anyways, here we have us reconnecting, romancing, and all of the things that BioWare is so very well known for, and that
we'll bang, okay?
Yeah, we'll bang, okay? And that oddly, so few people really get mad at this.
I really like this setup, by the way. The multiple monitors that are geared. I also like the fact that they've got a really simple follow the user paradigm, and that it gets confused when you're in there too, because then it starts following you instead of Liara.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
it's an interesting ship we're going on. I've always thought it's very different from other ships in sci-fi.
This was the biggest surprise for me among all the returning characters. I didn't think we would see Engineer Adams again.
Really?
And I don't know if there was any behind-the-scenes reason or if it was just a purely creative decision or whatever that he wasn't included. But I thought we'd get generic engineer number 6.
Yeah, no, I get you. I think that, BioWare does, again, and I think I mentioned this earlier, BioWare does a really good job of bringing back old characters as Easter eggs, if you will. As just kind of, oh my gosh, I remember so-and-so. Like, not just Liara, who you play with from the beginning, but Engineer Adams.
And again, one of the things about how I have chosen to characterize Agatha Shepard here is you're with me now.
Yeah.
I don't hold grudges because we can't afford grudges
Right.
now.
Right.
Family okay?
And
Yeah, you have to get in line.
right.
But I'm not going to hold this over your head.
You'll receive your fisting at a later date.
So, and Adam shows genuine regret because it's one of those things. Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
You were doing the right thing. But but the other thing is that he freely admits, I was working off of the information I had. And I can't be mad at you for that.
Oh, I can't. Honestly, I could. None of the. Not not mad at any of the characters. In character, not mad of any of the characters who did not support us when we were working for or working with Cerberus.
Fewer vaporized engineers.
It's honestly, I don't blame them at all.
And that means
Yeah, we handled our business, and now if anybody should be asking for forgiveness of anybody, it would be us.
Mm-hmm.
It would be Agatha saying, "Hey, look, I worked with them. They're the bad guys. I thought, the enemy of my enemy, and I forgot that the enemy of my enemy is still my enemy."
But that's also why I fucked him over in the end.
Exactly. And he will receive his just fisting when the time comes.
This interaction with Edie too. First off, I like the fact that humans are not as technophobic as a lot of species in the galaxy are.
Yeah.
They're not like Quarians who just completely disregard council edicts regarding artificial intelligence, but it's sort of like a why. AI can be a wonderful tool, you just got to develop them right. And not just develop them in terms of software, but develop them in terms of personality.
I think in terms of being a young species, humanity has not yet had the horrible experiences that other races have had with AI. Even though every time there's a horrible experience with AI, it is because of the biologicals either need to control it instead of interact with it, instead of exist with it, their need to control it or their fear of it.
And that's when you're creating an AI with personality, like an Edie, like Cortana from Halo.
Yeah.
If you're generating AI that is like what we're experimenting with now, where it is for want of a better word, dumb, informational interface. The computer from Star Trek is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Ship computers in Star Trek are artificially intelligent, but they are not sapient.
Exactly.
They are fancy directories.
Yeah, absolutely. A non-sapient does not know that it is, in fact. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think that is... and here we have...
the best bromance in gaming history.
Indeed.
First off, Cortez, I like this cat because he knows his role, and not only is he comfortable with it, but he loves his role. He loves the fact that he loves the fact that he is our combat taxi driver.
I like that about him. I like a man who's confident in what he does, and doesn't need more.
And the other thing about it too with him is that it's really shocking because he was a fighter jock in a previous life. And fighter jock, you tell a fighter jock that he's going to be driving a cargo plane for the rest of his career, or for this war.
Yeah, no.
That fighter jock's going to be turning in his wings.
Oh, I've seen fighter jocks who were moved to heavies that absolutely put in their paperwork because they were moved to heavies, because they were told. And this isn't like, I'm not talking about, hey, you're a fighter jock and you're getting moved to C-130s. That's kind of a, I get it. I get it. I can totally get that the difference is too big. This is people who are said, yeah, you're moving to bombers. Like, you're still getting to go into combat. You're still getting to go. And they're like, no, not doing that.
But think about it. You know how you pop a little chubby every time you drop one JDAM on people. Now you get to drop 100.
Yeah, I know, right? I worked bombers, so I was a bomber guy. I love bombers. But no, I think that Cortez is one of those. So you have primary characters, which would be you and your companions. Those are your primary characters. Then you have your secondary characters, which would be, in this case, it would be all of the Primarchs and Rex and all of those guys that get on board and make decisions and blah 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 blah.
All the people that we interact with towards a goal.
Towards a goal, yeah. Hackett, and then you have like 2.A. I'm not going to say that they're three.
They're not tertiary characters.
Third tier, but they're 2. But they're like they're not quite as high up on the list as like Hackett and Rex, but they're not the chef. They're not Engineer Adams. They're not, which goes into the third tier. And he is, I would say, in that category, because he does come with you on every adventure. Because he's the one, like, he's your taxi. He's the one, he's your Uber. He's your combat Uber. And so I appreciate him. I appreciate the characterization on him. I think that he is one of those guys that is just well written.
I'd rather not talk about my husband who was killed in a collector attack. You realize that this means we're going to be talking about it eventually.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're going to talk about the bro. You're going to give me details. I want the deets. I want to know how awesome this man, because obviously to get a man like you, he would have to have been a pretty awesome individual. And here we have, the armor interface on BioWare between games always seems to either get more complicated or more complex or less complex. I don't know how to say it, but it just gets weirder. Like it's like, okay, in the first game, exactly like any other role-playing game, you get the armor, it's got the bonuses, and you slap it on. Whoa. In the second game, it's like,
How'd it go with the Counsel?
meh. You get some armor pieces, you get some, you can slap this armor on, that armor on, but for the most part, the armor really was about your look. And then you could upgrade and do kind of things, but it wasn't like you could play the whole game without and be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Without once changing your armor. Without once.
It's just a question of
upgrading
what aspects you want to tweak.
Exactly. Whereas in any other role-playing game, if you tried that with your beginning armor,
you'd be boned.
You'd be boned. You have to upgrade your armor. And in this one, it was almost a visual choice more than anything else. And now moving into the third one, again, is it a visual choice thing? You do get some good bonuses. Like in the second one, you got some bonuses, but they weren't necessary. Although that being said, extra ammo is always tasty.
Well, that's because you're a horrible shot.
Oh Jesus Lord, am I a horrible shot?
Anyway, moving on. Jimmy Vega.
Yes.
Voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr.
Let's do that.
Actor. Did he do 90210?
I'm not sure. I think he did one of those in that kind of era.
The teen soap opera.
Teen soap operas. I think he did. I know he did those kind of movies.
He did the Scooby-Doo movies.
He did the Scooby-Doo movies, which
a
are
whole bunch of other
If
things.
you have not seen, go see them. They are surprisingly good.
Is he still married to Sarah Michelle Gellar?
He is.
That's awesome.
He is. He also.
It also means that there is a ugly chud out there. No, Freddie Prinze Jr. is not ugly.
No.
Seth Green's wife, I am insanely jealous of. But
indeed.
But I like Freddie Prinze Jr. because he's an uber geek. I like him because he's now a professional wrestling promoter.
I know that he worked for WWE for some time. He was a writer.
He is creating a promotion in Mexico that is
nice.
That's basically is peeling off talent from CMLL, so that way CMLL can develop newer talent and not create like a Legends sort of portfolio, but he wants to create he wants to do what AEW does, which is to promote different types of wrestling in the United States. So pulling Mexican talent and exposing America more to more luchador style action is kind of his goal. So I love the fact that he's a wrestling geek. I love the fact that he's a gaming geek. I love the fact that he's the sci-fi geek, which you wouldn't expect because, much like James Vega, Freddie Prinze Jr., particularly when he was in his 30s, was ripped, man.
I think he is overall in our business, and I say our business, in the business of entertainment. You know, he, as an actor myself, I look at him and I go, that is somebody that enjoys what he does what he enjoys, and doesn't let all of the other bullshit get to him. You don't hear about, like, he is solidly married. I mean, it's Michelle Gellar, so how could you not be like, you know, I mean, come on, the dude won the lottery. I mean, come on. She is so out of his league, and he needs to know that.
Seth Green, those sons of bitches.
I mean, as good as he is, she is still out of his league. And so I appreciate that he is definitely in the industry one of those guys.
I wish we could have had a prompt to pet the dog, by the way.
Which, I love games that let you pet the animals, and that's one of the things I'm very much enjoying about Veilguard is getting to pet all the puppies and all the cats and and some of your companions. But anyways,
but not Varric,
which is a shame.
It is a tragedy.
It is almost as big, but not quite as big a tragedy as not being able to bone a Krogan.
Well, we've only got about 2 minutes, so we don't have much time to get into Vega's character. I'll save that for when we get when we go to Palavan. But yeah, that's kind of the tour of the Normandy. First off, we're allowed to go down to the hangar deck.
Yep,
thank goodness. I like what they've done with the place for the most part.
Yeah, no, the upgrade I think is very. I like that they brought back the idea that we can have all of the stores on our ship.
Yeah.
So we don't have to like fly around. Oh, I got enough money to buy this now. I got to fly back here to buy it. Like, we don't have to do that. We can just buy everything on the ship.
I like the fact that the stuff that you can buy is fixed.
Yeah.
That it's not, it'll be there this time. Then you like travel to 3 different planets. And then you come back, and it's like that thing that you really wanted isn't there anymore.
Yes, no, I agreed. Totally agreed.
Or I also like the fact that we don't have to worry about our companions' armor and equipment because, Mass Effect 1, getting armor for Tali was a pain in the ass.
You're right. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that.
I remember the first time I played Mass Effect, she was a glass cannon because she was very, very capable, but I never got her out of her starting armor.
I mean, that was a frustration. Absolutely. I lean towards being a little bit of a role-playing game purist, where I want full control of my companions, their armor, their equipment, their all of it. However, I can also absolutely lean into and accept, hey, you know what? You don't need to worry about their armor.
Yeah, an uncle. Retired.
Okay.
I'm actually wondering if we should mimic what we did in our Mass Effect 2 series and do character studies on characters like Vega, like Cortez, like Trainer, whatnot. I'm not sure, and I'll have all the that I need to do it. So that's something you want to see, let us know. In the meantime, we gotta take off. So be sure to hit the like, subscribe, all that jazz. I'll see you in the next one, kids.
Deuces.